To factor polynomial expressions, you need some methods in order to factor them. And these methods that I wrote for you here, these 5, actually we have more, but I'm explaining these 5 for you. What's the first one and the easiest one? GCF, greatest common factor. Difference of squares if both of them was square, both terms. Trinomials, usually we use this one with quadratic. Grouping, if we have 4 terms or more. Sum or difference of cubes when you have x power 3, like two cubic terms when there is addition or subtraction in between them. We have an important note, students, that look all the terms. If they share number variables in common or both of them, you can factoring out using GCF. So always start with the GCF. Always, before solving anything, check the question or check the expression that can you able use GCF. Is there any common factors between them, common number, common variable? Before solving, always check if there is common, then try to, let's say, use GCF to factoring out. If it didn't work, then you will go to the other methods. For example, in this question, question A, the question saying factor. I see that this one, in both terms, 4 is in common. Between 4 and 8, both divisible by 4. X power to x power 1, both of them divisible. So there is x in common, there is 4 also in common. So we can factor the smallest power of x is here between both is x power 1, so we will factor x. Between 4 and 8, the number that both divisible by it is 4. Okay, then you will open a bracket. 4 divided by 4 equal 1, so we don't write 1. X squared divided by x is only x. If you multiply 4x back by x, you get 4x squared. So our factorization is correct. Then plus, you write plus. 8 divided by 4 equals only 2, and x divided by x is only 1, so we don't write 1. So this is going to be the answer. Even in the second one, x power 3 plus 2x squared. Here I have 1 in front of x power 3. There is no number in common between 1 and 2. Only there is a variable in common, so we can factor x. So which one? The smallest power is x power 2, so you can factor x power 2. If you take out x power from x power 3, you get only x power 1 or only x, plus if you take out x power 2 outside, you get only 2. So this is going to be the answer. And when we can use trinomial? Trinomial we usually use when you have 3 terms, students. Trinomial is by name mean trinomial, and 3 terms like this one, or B, C and D. How trinomial working? We usually use 2 brackets that we can factor. Not all the questions, of course, we can factor, but in this video we are just focusing on the questions that is able to factor by 2 brackets. Okay, how trinomial working? You have 3 terms like this one. Then you will make them 2 brackets. Alright. What's the sign of 2 brackets? In the front of x we have positive, so positive times negative, you write negative. It's not necessary to write negative in the first one or second one. You can switch anytime you want. Then negative times negative going to be positive. As I said, I can write positive first, then negative, or negative positive is multiplication. I can switch the places. Alright. Now find 2 numbers. Find 2 numbers. Let's write by this color. Find 2 numbers. Their multiply equals negative 22 if you multiply them. But if you add them equals negative 9. Find 2 numbers. If you multiply them equals negative 22, but if you add them equals negative 9. So which 2 numbers when you multiply equal negative 22 or equal 22, let's say? The answer is 2 and 11, right? 2 and 11. 2 times 11 equals 22. But which one should be negative to get negative 9 when you add them? Of course, 11 must be negative. So that's why we write x here, I forgot. So 11 must be in the negative side and 2 must be in the positive side, and this is the answer. Okay. Okay. All right. Now other question. Again, trinomial. So two brackets. We will write, of course, x. So in front of x squared we have positive. Positive times negative, we write this one negative. Negative times negative, positive again will be negative. Students, find two numbers that you can get 72. Like, find two numbers, when you multiply them equals 72. When you multiply, when you add them equals negative 17. What's these two numbers? These two numbers going to be 8 and 9, right? But both of them negative. So here we already wrote negative. So negative 8, negative 9. When you multiply them equals 72. When you add them equal negative 70. So we should write 8 and 9 here, right? So this is going to be factoring out. How we know our answer is correct? Multiply inner's together and outers together, then combine. Negative 8 times x equal negative 8x. Negative 9 times x equal negative 9x. Add them equal negative 17x. This is the middle value and our answer is correct. Let's jump to the third one. Again, it's trinomial, so two brackets. X. Okay, here positive. Positive times positive equal positive. Positive times positive again, going to positive. Find two numbers, their multiply equal 20, their addition equal 9. So going to be 4 and 5. Alright, let's go to the last one, which is D. Again, trinomial, two brackets. X. Okay, positive times negative equals negative. Negative times negative, again going to be positive. I told you, you can write positive first, negative is no matter which one you will write first. Then students, 42, find two numbers, they multiply equal 42 and their addition equals 1. So let's write down again the letter x. When you multiply them equals negative 42, but when you add them equals negative 1. And in one of them must be negative, and the bigger number also negative, because when you add equal negative 1. So the answer is negative 7 and positive 6, right? Negative 7 times positive 6 equal negative 42. Negative 7 plus 6 equal negative 1. So that's why we should write 7 in the negative side and 6 in the positive side. This is positive 6, this is negative 7, and this is going to be the answer. Students, sometimes we can mix, or in some questions you need to use GCF and trinomial at the same time, like these questions in front of you. I cannot directly factor this one because it's x power 3, even though it's trinomial, 3 terms, but it's x power 3. In x power 3 I cannot directly make it to bracket. Two brackets only when it's the biggest power as x power 2 is quadratic, like this one, how we solve it. So in this case, what we should do, we can use GCF or factor because all three they have sharing x. If you check, in the first one is x power 3, like this one, x power 2 and x. All three they have x. So we can factor x first. GCF is x power 1, the smallest power. So when you take out x from x power 3 equals x power 2 minus 11x then plus 28. You took out x. How I know my answer is correct? Multiply x by the bracket. If you get the answer back, then your answer is correct. Now inside the bracket is x power 2, the biggest power. So right now I can easily make it to bracket. So I will keep writing this x outside, then I will make it to bracket. Okay, after making to bracket, as you can see, positive times negative, we explain equal negative. Negative times positive, again equal negative. So we write x. Find two numbers, they multiply equal 28, which is 4 and 7. 4 times 7 equal 28, and when you add them together equals 11. So 4 and 7 going to be the correct answer. Same thing for part B, again x power 3. So we should factor x first. like factoring x, we get x power 2 minus x minus 12. So students, again, right now inside the bracket is 2, let's say it's quadratic, so we can rewrite the x outside, 2 brackets, x also. So we can write negative positive or positive negative, because positive times negative, we say negative negative times negative positive. So I will not repeat, so quickly we can learn. So find two numbers. Let's make or let's draw the letter x for this one. Okay, find two numbers that multiply equals negative 12 when you multiply them, but when you add them equals negative 1. So going to be one of them, of course, negative. Here we wrote negative. One of them should be negative 4 and the other one is positive 3. Negative 4 times positive 3 equals negative 12. Negative 4 plus negative 3, positive 3 equals negative 1. So which is negative 4 and positive 3. This is going to be the answer. Let's go to the last one. We have again x power 3, x in common. Going to be x power 2 plus 8x minus 9. Again, two brackets. We get x, so positive, negative, right? So find two numbers, they multiply equal 9, but when you add them equals 8, which is positive 9, negative 1. When you multiply them equal 9, negative 9, and when you add them equals positive 8. Alright students, now let me explain some difference of squares, third method, which we have let's say both of them must be square, like this one is square and this one also square, and the most important thing is what between them is negative. If it's positive, we cannot do that. If it was x squared plus 9, so you cannot factor, never, right? Only when it's negative. So how we can do that? Students, we need to write two brackets. Always one negative, one positive, or one positive, one negative. X. What's the square root of 9? Equals 3, right? So we write 3. Same thing for part B. Two brackets. Check when it's a square. First one is square is even power. So 100 also is square number. 10 times 10 equals 10 and 10, or square root of 100 is 10. So we can say x minus 10, x plus 10. In part C, you have both of them against the square, while it's here for a square. It's totally fine because 4 also square number, 16 also square, a also is even power, so it's square. So we can say 2 square root of 4 is 2, 2a minus 4 and 2a plus 4. Why I did that? Because 16 is 4 times 4 and 4 is 2 times 2 and a is a times a, right? So you write 2a, and in the first part root of 4 is 2, a is a, like 4, and so on. Students, also when you have part, check out the question D and E. Also you can use GCF and difference of squares, like this one is not x power 2, is not x power 2, right? But both of them, they share x, right? So you can factor x first, then you get x power 2 minus 25. Right now, as you can see inside the bracket, this is square and this is also square, and difference between squares, so you can make two brackets, x minus 5 and x plus 5, because 5 times 5 equals 25. Last one, students, again here we have number and variable in common, right? Is x power 3, 2 also not square, 8 not square, and as x power 3 everything, so we need to use GCF first. Factor 2, factor x also. 2 divided by 2 equal 1, x power 3 divided by x is only x power 2 minus 8 divided by 2 is 4, x divided by x only x. So we get x squared minus 4. Right now inside the bracket you get x squared minus 4, so both of them is difference between squares, so you can make it two brackets, 2x outside, x minus square root of 4 is 2, and x plus 2. Class, when you have x power 3 cubic, difference or sum between them, you can, in both cases you can factor. Especially here, this is x power 3 and 64 is cubic number. How I know is cubic number? What's cubic number? It's a product. 64 is a product of 4 times 4 times 4. So you can find an integer number that can be multiplied by itself 2 times, like 3, and you get the number. So 64 we can write as a product of 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. Same thing for 27. Even 27 you can find 3 times 3 times 3 equals 27, right? And so on. Any number that you can write as a product of 3 same integer, this is calling cubic number. Okay, how we can factor this type of polynomials? You need two brackets, one of them small bracket and the other one big bracket. In the small bracket I'll write the root of the first one. Root of x power 3 is only x, same sign of course, minus root of 64 is only 4. Okay, what I will write in the second bracket? The signs in the second bracket is like this. Opposite to this sign is positive, right? So I'll write down positive. How about in the other one? Always this is positive. The one that I'm going to highlight it, this is always positive, okay? But this one changing. The first positive changing, depend of the small bracket. Now, what I will do, I will find the square of the first one. Square of x equal how much? Equal x power 2. And square of 4 equal how much? Equals 16. I'll write down 16 here. And what I'll write in between them? 4 times x. So equals 4x. That's it. This is going to be the answer. Let's go to the second one. Again, it's cubic, both of them. We have no problem with that. So two brackets. One of them big, one of them small. Same sign is negative, so I'll write down negative here, right? So root of x power 3 is only x. Root of 27 is 3, as I mentioned before. Now, inside the big bracket, opposite to this sign is positive. And how about the other one? Always we say this is positive, right? We have no problem. Now, what's the square or x power 2, like this one square, equals how much? Equals x power 2. How about 3 square? Equals 9, right? 3 times x equals 3x. That's it. Easy, right? Also, students, in cubic you can use GCF. For example, this question, x power 3 we have no problem is cubic, but 2 is not cubic, 16 also not cubic. There is no number multiplied by itself 3 times equals 2 or 16. So we need to check or simplify first by GCF, then trying this method. If it works, if not, we leave it. So try to factor 2, and so in this question we can actually erase this x, because I wrote x by mistake. Even if you do, you cannot simplify more, so I wrote x by mistake. So if you factor 2, you get x power 3 plus 8, correct? Okay, right now students, 8 is cubic number. Why 8 is cubic number? Because 8 is 2 times 2 times 2, right? Is cubic number. So that's why we can use, keep the 2 outside, 2 brackets, one small one big. Root of x power 3 is only x, same sign positive, and root of 8 is 2. So what you will write in the other bracket, I told you opposite to this sign. So this sign, the opposite is negative, and the other one always positive. Okay, homie. Right now, First one, x squared going to be x power 2, and how about 2 going to be 4, right? 2 times x equals 2x, and this is final answer. How about the part D? 8 we said right now is cubic, we have no problem. A power 3 is cubic, 125 also cubic, b power 3, so all of them is sum between two cubes. 125, remember, is 5 times 5 times 5. So we need two brackets, one small, one big. Okay, how we write? We will write first one, of course, same sign, positive, but in the other one we change it to negative, right? And how about this one? Always positive. Okay. So students, what's the root of 8 is 2. How about a is a power 1. 125, the root is 5. How about b power 3 is only b. True? Okay. Now, inside the big bracket, we need to find 2a squared. 2a squared equals 4a power 2. How about 5b squared equals 25b power 2. Our square equal 25b power 2, and 2a squared equals 4a power 2. How about in between them? You will multiply them. 2 times 5 equal 10, a times b equals ab, and this is final answer. Last question in this video. I have x power 4 minus x. Again, I have this one, x power 3 is not cubic, so I can factor, since both of them is x, going to be x. Then x power 4, when you factor, equal x power 3 minus 1. Right now, inside the bracket is cubic, both of them, so we can use the method, two brackets, one big, one small, going to be x minus 1, and this one going to be x plus 1 times x, only x, plus 1 squared is only 1. So this is this is power 2. This is going to be the answer. I hope you understood, and for any other questions, please write me in the comment below, and until next video, see you. Bye.